Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final part of Let's Play Castlevania Bloodlines. We've travelled all over Europe, we've battled all manner of monsters, but at long last we have reached our final destination. I sound like a satellite navigation system, but you know what? I'm gonna run with it. This is the final stage of the game, which the game hopefully tells you is the final stage of the game right as you start it. Castle Proserpina in England. I'm pumped, so let's freaking go. To avoid these fireballs, you duck underneath them as the Medusa head is shooting them at you, or you can actually whip them directly to dispel them. Either way, just avoid them. It's not that difficult, really. And then jump when the bridge is going to collapse, and you'll be fine. Now, Stage 6 is a bit weird in its composition. I've had a friend of mine go so far as to call it Slapdash. I wouldn't go that far, personally, but I see what he means. Because Stage 6 is basically a collection of rooms of quite short duration, each with its own unique gimmicks. Some of the gimmicks are interesting, and some of them are quite annoying. This one is both. I call this place the Hall of Mirrors, because that central mirror there, that's distorting the position of everything on the stage. Yourself, the platforms, the candles, the Medusa heads, even the background. And yes, I did say the Medusa heads, I kind of preempted myself there, because they're back. The Revenge of the Return of the Medusa heads. And pay attention to the background as well, because even that's distorted, and it does give rise to a beautiful graphical effect. With the statues, they look like they're all bifurcated and split down the centre. They're also crying blood, but I don't think that's because of the optical illusion. They're not actually split down the centre, it is of course an optical illusion. The key to traversing this room safely, well, there's two keys really. One, take your time, even with the Medusa heads are there. Two, try and destroy them whenever you can. Usually they say when they show, oh, they're just a distraction, they're not a threat. Well, they absolutely are a threat, screw that noise, ignore my old advice. And pay attention to your feet at all times, because that tells you your true position. And now the gravity is inverted, and we're dancing on the ceiling. Well, actually, no, we're fighting an axe armor on the ceiling, but I'm pretty certain that Lionel Richie never made a song with that title, so dancing on the ceiling, it shall have to be. We've also got the return of the Fuzzbusters. I still don't know why they called it that. Did someone in Konami Japan, like, have it out for cops or something? Like, they saw a cop being arrested and thought, I know, Fuzzbuster. I have no idea. It sounds like a Dustbuster. Anyway, again, take your time and just use a little patience and you'll be absolutely fine. Just make sure you don't get smacked into the upwards pit, because you actually die upside down. It's really strange. So Castle Proserpina then is named after a Roman goddess, which kind of floats my boat because after all, I did actually read ancient history at university. That's what my degree was in. And I'm kind of into Roman and Greek mythology big time. My dissertation was actually on that. And Proserpina is the Roman name for the goddess Persephone, who is the daughter of the goddess Demeter, or Ceres in Roman mythology, who's the goddess of crops. And Persephone, or Proserpina, is kidnapped by Hades to go to the underworld, and long story short, she has to spend 6 months of the year with Hades, her husband, and 6 months with her mother. When she's with Hades, Demeter is sad, no crops will grow, they all die, we get winter and autumn. When she's with her mother for the 6 months, we get spring and summer. And that's how the ancient Greeks came up with their myth for the seasons. It's kind of neat. Also, I've talked over completely that section there with the return of the Mecha Knights. But don't worry, because he's not the only returning boss, oh no. And now we're coming up to a sub-boss. And when I say a sub-boss, I'm being deliberately obtuse, because that doesn't do this guy justice at all. This is Death, aka the Grim Reaper. And he has been in so many Castlevania games as a right-hand minion of Dracula himself. I don't think he was ever the main villain himself. He doesn't fight you directly. Instead, he produces these tarot cards, this sort of wheel of tarot cards, and you have to hit one with your attack, and you'll choose your fate. If you hit the death card, he will shoot a fireball at you, but you just walk away to avoid it. The cards do actually slow down after time. It's kind of like that revolving door that roulette you get in the final regular stage of Yoshi's Island. But here, it instead takes you to previous boss fights. Beginning then, of course, with the Golem. That was very, very close to hitting me there. Beginning with a Golem from stage 2. And now I've got the axes. This guy's much easier because you just jump up and hit them. Ow, that hurt. The bosses have a lot less health than usual, which is nice, but I do not get Konami's fascination with doing boss refight gauntlets. They did it in the Adventures of Batman and Robin as well, which is another Konami game I Let's Played about a couple of years ago. And they're doing it here as well. Now, the Golem actually shows up again in Super Castlevania 4 under the name Coronaut. He looks completely different, but Coronaut is his name. And that sounds like nonsense until you realise that's actually the words ton of rock, but reverse. Don't get me wrong, it's still nonsense, but at least it's nonsense you can sort of understand. And now we're going to take on the Gargoyle. Also, it's really kind of jarring how you go from the sub-boss theme when Death shows up to a regular boss theme, and then the sub-boss theme again. And honestly, surely Death deserved at least a regular boss theme, if not his own unique piece of music, but they didn't give it to him, so never mind. They're kind of rough on the sub-bosses in general at this stage, honestly. And now the return of the Gargoyle. I finally worked out why they called him that, by the way. It's because he's made out of stone. Not meat. I thought he was made out of meat, but he's made out of stone. Still doesn't look like any Gargoyle I've ever seen, but you know what? It's fine. It's not the worst thing about this game at all. Patience is still the order of the day. Okay, me and my big mouth. As I was saying, patience is still the order of the day. I'm trying not to take as much damage as I possibly can. I mean, that's kind of obvious, isn't it? But I am. There is a health refill coming up, but it's the only one. Wow, he is just kicking my ass. I never had this problem when I fought him before, did I? Okay, I think I'm just getting nervous because I am trying to do this in one life. It probably will not happen. If it doesn't, that's going to be fine. But Freezing Inferno said, you know, do it in one life. And I said, stupidly, okay, you're on. I don't think I managed to make it happen anyway. Again, another death card, just avoid the fireball. I'm not sure why they had that, to be honest, and I'm not sure why the first stage boss and the 5th stage boss don't show up in this gauntlet. Well, the first stage boss already showed up in the art gallery just before this bit, so that's why. But why not the Princess of Moss? I mean, I'm glad because she absolutely, utterly destroyed me, as well as my fragile ego. But it's strange how she shows up and she doesn't show up where the other guys do. That's all I'm saying. And now the Gear Steamer, who honestly is not that bad, I believe, anymore. I used to talk this guy up, but that's the strange thing about doing a Let's Play and doing all the practice runs for it. You kind of get a feel for certain bosses. Wow, I'm destroyed. He didn't even get to do his charge attack, which is the thing that I'm worst at avoiding. And then he comes down from the ceiling, and wow, that's the quickest I've ever killed that boss. I mean, okay, he's got reduced health, but that's the quickest I've ever killed the Gear Steamer. That's kind of amazing, honestly. So Death has got one more card left, but this is a nice card, actually. Death is actually taking pity on you. If I can hit the thing, thank you, he supplies you with a health refill. 12 meats. I mean, they're completely poised to have 12 of them, but anyway, now that the cards are all done, Death fights you directly, and he fights you actually quite similar in some respects to how he does in Super Castlevania 4 for the Super Nintendo. Those explosive scythes you just have to move away from, and then jump over his charge attack. And now this black hole move he's doing is great because it lets you get a lot of free hits on. I'm trying to preserve my health, so that's why I'm taking my time and not trying to be as aggressive as perhaps I usually am, because I really want to preserve my health. Now, my favourite death fight in all of Castlevania has to be the death fight in Portrait of Ruin, because he teams up with Dracula. He actually teams up with Dracula. You fight them together, and then he sacrifices himself to strengthen Dracula. And Death is dead, except he's not really dead because Death never dies in Castlevania. He is neutralised, he is temporarily neutralised, but he always comes back full of health again in time for the next game. I think it's an allusion to the fact that, an illusion I should say, not an illusion, to the fact that Death can never truly die. The concept of death never goes away, sadly. And we are straight away into the next sub-boss fight. It's Elizabeth Bartley, who we saw in the title sequence, who either transforms into or summons Medusa, and that tail whip usually gets me. I'm surprised it didn't. She's got 4 attacks. That lunge, you just stay well behind, you'll be absolutely fine. Medusa, yet another Castlevania regular boss, major enemy. Well, not really a major antagonist, but she is a recurring boss. And she's dead. That really did not take long. So now Elizabeth fights you herself. Whether she summoned Medusa or transformed into her is irrelevant, because now you're fighting the main woman herself. And Elizabeth is a very annoying and time-consuming fight. Yes, I've got the super whip, and that will help a little bit if I can keep hold of it, but she's still very time-consuming. You can only damage her once you've hit her the number of times those orbs that are floating above your head are. So if there's 4 orbs, you have to hit her 4 times before she takes any damage. And the orbs will launch different attacks if you fail. That flame orb will launch out a wheel of fire. The blue orbs will produce flea men, which are quite easy to destroy, but it's still time-consuming. There's another couple of orbs I forget about. Oh yes, the lightning orb. You just walk away to avoid the lightning orb. It's amazing how many attacks in the bosses, these final stages of the game, just walk away. Oh yes, and that's what happens if you cross over into the half of the room that she's standing in. She tries to catch you out and teleport over to the other side of the room. You can actually use that to your advantage. You can actually exploit her eye a little bit. And this is a sort of Dio-style Thousand Knives attack. Dio Brando from JoJo. I'm in trouble here because she caught me off guard and teleported to the other side of the room. I may have to avoid that attack. I don't think I can avoid that attack. I may be taking a hit here, just to say. So Elizabeth Bartley, his name is modelled after a real-life person called Elizabeth Bathory. Ow! Damn it. There goes the super whip. I was doing so well up to that point. And she has gone down in infamy in her native Hungary because she used to kill young women and then reportedly bathe in their blood. And some accounts have her having as many as 650 victims, which is insane. Countess Bathory was eventually tried, convicted, and executed for her crimes, and that's who Elizabeth Bartley is based off. Now, in the manual, it says that she was executed for the Castlevania version was executed for vampirism, not for bathing in virgin's blood or anything like that. But it also says her fate is too gruesome to describe in this manual, or words to that effect. And her fate here is pretty gruesome too. That scream gets me every goddamn time. Damn. She ain't going to be in Rush Hour 3. So Elizabeth Bartley is dead. I'm sorry for that. Elizabeth Bartley is dead now, but she still managed to complete her task. If you cast your mind back to the introduction of the game, she was trying to resurrect her uncle. And even though we killed her stone dead and she's not coming back, she did unfortunately manage to resurrect her uncle. Also, it's a really nice touch that they start playing Simon's theme here. Again, takes me back to Super Castlevania 4, which you're probably getting tired of hearing this, but I almost Let's Play that. Am I going to go for the axe? No, I'll go for the boomerang. Boomerang's perhaps a slightly better choice in this fight. Although honestly, I prefer to just use the whip rather than the sub-weapons at all. So enough padding then, and enough dilly-dallying around. It's time to fight the final boss, who is of course the one, the only, Count Dracula. Now in the first phase of the fight, he's got 3 attacks. That flame attack you can just whip to avoid. Then he shoots these red orbs from his hands, and you've just got to run away from it. Again, another instance of a boss attack where you run away from it. And the third one is this wheel of fire, which you just duck to pass overhead and then whip him in the face. Now there is a strategy you can use to stop him attacking, but it's reliant on strategy. That was a bad idea. I pressed the wrong button. I meant to press the whip and I hit the sub weapon, the boomerang, instead. I'm doing horribly. What you're supposed to do is jump up when he teleports in, and if you time it right, you can hit. Okay, that's supposed to be the Wheel of Fire game. That wasn't very fair. Listen to me talking to the Dracula fight in a Castlevania game. That wasn't very fair, game. But we've almost depleted his entire health, and there he goes. So for phase 2, Dracula tags out and brings in one of his minions. Now, a lot of people think that this is supposed to be Shaft from Symphony of the Night and also Rondo of Blood. But it's not Shaft. This is in fact Drolta Suentes, who is mentioned in the manual as being the witch that resurrected Elizabeth Bartley. And she actually did it accidentally if you read the Japanese version of the manual. That detail is omitted in the Western version. She's already dead, but she's named after Dorota Suentes, a real-life servant of Elizabeth Bathory, who was tried and convicted with her. So, Drolta goes down, but not before using the last ounce of her strength to resurrect Count Dracula again, and now he's a horrible flying monster with a crotch, a mouth on his crotch. Sorry, that just kind of took me by surprise there. His attack is very similar to Death, actually. He launches these explosive scythes, and you can kind of get into a pattern here, as I'm actually doing quite well. Don't say that, Rain. Hubris, remember hubris. You've got to basically let the first couple of scythes lock onto you, and then move away from the third and the fourth. And now he's turned red, and now he's shooting fire out of his crotch. What is it, by the way, with video games and final bosses that shoot fire or projectiles out of their crotch? Super Ghouls and Ghosts did it with Sardius. This game is doing it with Dracula. And then in the world of anime and Digimon, you had Venomiotismon that had a mouth in his crotch, and even worse, that was his true form, was referred to as the Beast Within. And now, this is going to be tight, because I'm down to low health, but so is Dracula. Uh-oh, I'm trapped. Can I do this? Can I actually beat him with 1 life? That would be incredible. Every time you hit him, bones come out. I've got to be really careful here. Oh, no! Oh, that's a heartbreaker. That's a goddamn heartbreaker. Oh, I was so close. I am so ashamed right now. Oh, that's gutting. God damn it. Okay, phase 1 down then. I've now got the tiny baby whip, so go on, tag in Drolta. By God, King, the immortal prince of the vampires has tagged out. Sorry. I kind of promised somebody I wouldn't make that joke, so they wouldn't be disappointed that I didn't make it. Drolta's got 2 attacks. That fireball, you've just got to go to the corner of the screen and jump over them. And then when she clones herself, you've actually got ample time to hit the real Drolta. I just hope she doesn't fly into me, because I'm kind of low on health. Also, I've got the worst weapon. That was very close. Come on, I need to get rid of her without taking too much damage. I've also got the Holy Water, which is absolutely the worst sub-weapon for any of these 3 phases of the boss fight. It's honestly really strange that the Dracula fight contains the Dracula fight contains somebody that isn't Dracula. I mean, okay, Portrait of Ruin, the Death and Dracula tag team battle. Anyway, phase 2 down. Go on, resurrect Dracula. Bring him in. Bring in the horrible crotch mouth beast. Okay, let's try this again. This time I've got to concentrate more. Can't take any more cheap hits. Got to try and get this done. If I can beat this guy in 2 lives, I'm honestly pretty pleased with that. That's not going to help matters, is it? I used to have the worst time with this phase, honestly, of all the 3 phases, and then suddenly something just clicked. And that's kind of the thing when you're actually doing Let's Plays for the internet. Something just clicks in you because you do a stage over and over again in practice, or at least I do, and you're terrible at it, but then you want to be at least somewhat good for the video, and suddenly something just clicked and you're fine. I mean, here, it's just a case of jumping over the flames and then whipping him as he flies up to me. I missed him that time, that's going to cause a problem. Jump! No, didn't jump. This is going to be very, very close. I can't really take another hit. I have to beat him without taking another single hit. I apologise for this commentary, but I'm honestly freaking out at this point. Okay, so I think what I've got to do is be careful the times I actually attack him. Because he only shoots at the bones when you hit him, and I think what cost me was using the boomerang to hit him with the item crash, because it meant that I hit him multiple times. Come on! Thank you, God! I know it's kind of ironic because this is a game about vampires, but thank you, God, it's over. A single tear falls, I don't care. Purify the air with as much holy water as I possibly can. I don't care if it's going to technically cost me points at the end. That is the end of Castlevania Bloodlines, and the end of Count Dracula, and I am so relieved to finish that. Halloween LP that took 3 freaking months to complete. Well, actually, no, 2 months, because it was started on October the 25th, I believe, and then it ended on December the 23rd. But dear God, that was a slog, but it's a really good game. And I am honestly really pleased that I have Let's Played it. So this is the ending then. Castlevania seeps back into the ground, as it always does, but it'll rise again, don't you worry. And another poor hero will be tasked with having to slay Dracula and return him to his grave. Yeah, the ending is pretty much as you expected. Dracula's dead. It wasn't technically a verted game. He was resurrected. We just reversed it pretty damn quickly and sent him to his grave 5 minutes later. And now you get the credits, and a really nice touch is they show you the bosses again during the credits. It really breaks it up. And you finally get the real names for all these bosses, and you'll see I was actually pretty darn accurate, with the one exception. Armor Battler, not Mecha Knight. And I said Armor Knight, but that's another Castlevania enemy. And then the Golem, of course. So while the credits roll, it's time for my final thoughts on this game and this project. Firstly, this is just as good as I remember it, if not more so. And I will make a confession right now, I never got to beat this game as a child. My cousin and I, we did okay, but we failed at the 4th stage. We could never actually get past the gear steamer. I know, that sounds pathetic now, but as a child, when you're younger, you're not as good at games as you are as an adult. And also I had the benefit of being able to go through and practice and use save states. Not in the LP itself, it must be said. I never use save states now, actually on camera, but I do in practice runs just to get a feel for certain tricky parts of the level, and that's what I did here. Also, you juggle those gears, you asshole. And there's Marie Antoinette's ghost, and then she turns into a horrible moth monster. Also, just saying that Michiru Yamane is responsible for the sound design is being really, really unfair to her, because she was responsible for the entire soundtrack, and she did a fantastic job. I also think the sound design of the game is great. I did notice actually that one or two of the sound effects are recycled in the final stage, but I can forgive that because I was so intense trying to beat the bosses anyway that I didn't really notice it until just now, honestly, when I had a chance to sit back and reflect. And I can also forgive the final boss Gauntlet, although it's really strange how they don't give Death and Elizabeth their own theme music, or at least the boss theme music. It almost feels like they're disrespecting them in some respect, but I guess they are technically sub-bosses, not actual bosses, but they are showing up in the boss reel at the end of the credits here, which just makes me even more confused. And also, Elizabeth doesn't even get her own portrait show, it just says Medusa, which is strange. But yeah, great game, absolutely has stood the test of time, as so few retro games do these days, but there are certain ones that are considered all-time classics. I put this right up there. I do slightly prefer Super Castlevania 4, but that's to be expected because I'm a Super Nintendo child and not a Sega Genesis child. Try Expert Mode? Yeah, sorry Konami, not happening. Maybe one day I'll go back as Eric and I'll stream this on Expert Mode. But no, I am not gonna play through freaking Expert Mode right now. This is done. Castlevania Bloodlines is over. And all that is left to say is to thank you so much for sticking to this through the end. I know it was a long, hard slog. I'm so sorry this took 2 months instead of a week as I originally planned. But hey, thank you for watching. Let's play Castlevania Bloodlines, and I'll see you in the new year with my next project. Until then, I've been Rainiac. Thank you very much for watching, and bye for now.